You beautiful Life Path 33 people, welcome to your 2024 Numerology and Tarot forecast with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to say, for those of you that supported me throughout 2023, from my heart to yours, it means the absolute world that you did so. And for those of you that have been with me longer than that, you know it means the world to me. And I just want to say, for those of you that checked in on these month by month, every 3 months, every 6 months, I absolutely love that you guys do that. I love reading your comments to say, like, Raf, you know, damn, like this showed up for me. And like, it's just really, really awesome to read your comments. And those validations, they really do mean a lot. And it also shows me that I'm doing the right thing with my life too, right? Okay, so with that said, how does 2024 shape up for you guys in all of these different life sectors? Well, for you, this is a year to kick back and have fun. I'm sure many of you are very happy to hear me say that. This is a year for you to do things differently, to take the bull by the horns and, you know, to really do the year in your own unique style. This is like, it asks from you to treat life more like a great adventure and less like a chore, right? This year is a year to be all up. It's not a year really to be all up in your feels, but it is a year for you to be all up in like what it means to be you. It's a year for you to open up and to like take the brakes off and put the pedal to the metal. You're being asked here to get really serious about living life, about experiencing life, enjoying life. This means take a calculated risk or two, right? It's a year for you to present yourself in new and exciting ways. Now, when it comes to love, spice it up in the bedroom or even in the kitchen or both if you're in a relationship. This is about connecting to the new and exciting energy that's in the air. You and your partner need to get on the same wavelength, and to do that, you might need to switch up the vibe in some way. If you're single, there are lots of opportunities to date, to have fun, to get excited, to love your body and others' bodies too. I do like this for any and all physical, intimate connections. I'm not entirely sure if this is the best year for you to kind of settle down into a relationship unless you are in a personal year 2 or 6. Check out my personal year series. It's up and out there, has been there for a while, doing its thing, showing you guys how to get the most out of your personal year. Now, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to money, promote yourself and your skill set at work to increase your salary. If you really want to make more money when it comes to the job and the work, you've really got to show, like, why are you the best? Why are you brilliant? Why do you need that pay rise, that promotion, etc.? If you've got a business, invest your time and resources into sales, marketing, and promotions, because that's where the money's going to come from this year. It's a year for you to kind of shout from the rooftops, this is what I do, this is what I offer, this is what I've got, right? It's a year for you to watch the pennies, because you're likely to be a bit more spendthrift. This year can make us all a little bit spenny henny, especially because it's an 8 year. And you know, and for you personally, you're going to likely want to travel more, to see exciting new things and places. When it comes to work, this is a year to sell yourself and to go for that promotion, as I said, right? Like, even if it comes into a job change or an up level of your work life, it's a great year for you to change the job, but not without considering or planning, right? It is an 8 year as a universal year, so it needs a solid plan. It can't just be like, well, you know what, fuck it, I'm done with this, I'm going to do something else now. It's whatever else, you know, is going on, it's still an 8 year. Organization and discipline will be needed. Good time to ask yourself, actually, what parts can you now do with your eyes closed? And what do you need to brush up your skills on and with? Because this is the time to roll up your sleeves and get to it. When it comes to your health will be good this year, but it might be a somewhat energetically frenetic year. So you probably be picking that up. Some kind of martial arts, running, outdoor cycling, jiu-jitsu, anything where you're tapping into making your heart race and your body sweat is highly favorable, and it doesn't have to be sports, if you know what I'm saying. Right, in general, your health is good this year. Just be careful with like things like foreign diseases, especially if you're traveling abroad. things that you wouldn't usually catch, like in your own home country, etc. You want to make sure you've had all of your jabs if you're traveling this year. All of the stuff that they give you when you're little to kind of inoculate you for, because this is a year where you might attract and desire the exotic, but might also potentially fall prey to it, and that can be in the good way and also the not so good way. All right, with that said, have a fantastic year, but stay tuned because we're going to get into your 12-month tarot breakdown to see what the year has in store for you. Take care, and I'll see you in a moment. Hello, you wonderful Life Path 33 person. Welcome to your 12-month by month tarot breakdown. So let's get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So you're going to get one destiny card, one direction card per year, and obviously the first card out, it kind of typifies the whole year that you're going to have, so it's a really important one. You guys know how this works by now. You've been watching them for a while at this point, so okay, so your card hath spoken. And it's a good one. And I find it really, really cool and really interesting, given that you are a Life Path 33. Of course, it is the Empress. The reason this is so awesome is because the Empress is also number 3. So this suggests that this year is likely to be a very fruitful one for you. It's potentially going to be a year that has a very powerful, growthful energy behind it. Now, the number 3 is a joyous energy anyway, and you're a double hit of this energy. So this is kind of suggests that this is a year for you to do more and be more of yourself, but to be and do more of that out there in the world, right? You're being encouraged to really think about getting out there and living life, grabbing the bull by the horns, as they say. The other thing with the Empress card, this is a card of enjoyment. It's a card of pleasure, which means this year you have to find the joy in life. You have to find ways to enjoy the life and the experience that you have and that you've been given. Now, when it comes to January, 2 things worth noting. So Mercury, we start the year with Mercury retrograde. I know, collective sigh, but don't worry. It's not like 2023 where we started the year with a Mercury and a Mars retrograde. So it was like, it just took forever to get going, right? It's not that. Mercury goes direct on the 2nd of the month. Mercury goes direct on the 2nd of the month. So then we've got just the post-retrograde shadow. It's not going to be as heavy. It's not going to be anywhere near as heavy. As if that wasn't enough, on January the 21st, Pluto is moving back into the sign of Aquarius. This is a big deal for all of us. We had a little taster of it in 2023. Personally, I loved it. So it will be interesting to see how it goes. Now, that being said, this Empress card, right? Let's see, what's the clarifying energy around that? You've got your destiny energy for January and kind of the whole year. So what have you got for the direction? Let's clarify this and flesh it out a little bit. And for this, you have the Queen of Swords, right? So Queen of Swords, usually an air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. The Empress is Venus. So this does suggest that in January, a Libra woman may feature for you in some way, shape or form. This could be someone that you're connecting to, someone that is working with you or for you, maybe somebody that's working on your behalf. Now, one of the ways that this could also show up, because the Queen of Swords is about what we fight for, and the Empress is obviously the joys and the pleasures of life. So this could literally be that you are fighting to carve out time and space for yourself, that you really are doing what you can to enjoy life, right? It's almost like you're saying, no, you know what, I have to draw some boundaries between my work life and my home life. It could also be, for a lot of you, this may be, especially if you're a parent, this might be where you're having to really flex those mama or papa bear muscles, okay? Now, as we come into February, you have the World card. This is huge, right? The World card is a big step up. This is promotion energy. For a select few of you, this combination here in January now kind of makes a bit more sense. It may very well be that you are pulling rank at the job to say, listen, I've put the hard work in and I'm willing to keep working, but I'm just going to kick back if you don't kind of put me where I'm meant to be. Now in February, this is a promotion, it's a change of some sort, potentially of community. Doesn't necessarily mean a move, but it just could mean like a larger group institution that you are a part of. You've got this with the Strength card. So the World and the Strength card, this month on a sort of physical health and vitality level, for some of you, this could be a month where you are working really hard on your physical body, specifically the structure of your body. So you could be seeing a chiropractor, an osteopath, you know, and I say this as well because the World card is your bones, your skeletal system, whereas the Strength card is your back. So at this time you might be working on, like if you've had problems or issues with your back or your spine, this could be where you're working alongside an osteopath or a chiropractor to really get your physical body aligned and realigned in some way. It could also be where some of you start a health and fitness regime that is very much focused on supporting your body for longevity. So I actually really like this. I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but it looks like you may be working with or alongside alternative therapists at this time. Now the other thing is the Strength card is about courage and guts. So this is you mustering the strength or the courage to join a collective or a community of some sort. So February, it looks like you're all guns blazing on something, right? You're kind of jumping in at the deep end with something, as it were. Now in March, we have the first eclipse of the year. It is a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra. Now this is a big deal for a couple of reasons. The first one is it's an eclipse, right, obviously. The second is think back to October 14th of 2023. What was happening for you at that time? What were you initiating or starting or pushing out into the world? The reason I'm asking you that question or asking you to really look backward is because this represents the point at which whatever was initiated in this cycle of the Libra eclipses for you is likely to be culminating, bearing fruit, or showing its its results here in March. Like here's where you get to really see what was set into motion for you at that time. So it's a big deal for this eclipse. Now for this you have the Death card. Endings, completions, culmination. So this is a full moon lunar eclipse, which is a grand completion, ending, culmination point. It's a full moon lunar eclipse on the south node, which is all about release and sacrifice, what we're letting go of, what we're moving away from. The fact that you have the Death card here doesn't have to mean literal physical death, but it does mean that something is leaving your world for good in March, right? Like there's something you're letting go of or phasing out here, but permanently. And you've got this with the Ace of Pentacles. My money is on, for a lot of you, this will be a home. It will be a home or a job. For some of you, you might be striking out on your own to go into business for yourself. That could be wonderful. Because you've got this Ace of Pentacles with the Death card, it's like whatever you're letting go of now, it's done, right? It's run its course. You kind of decided, yeah, I'm not moving in that direction anymore. It's a powerful message and it's a very clear one, actually. Ace of Pentacles also represents fresh starts, on that material level. So it's usually like a new job. It can be like a new home, and with this and the cards that precede it, it kind of speaks very loudly. Now, April is a packed astrological month. There is so much going on here, right? And so before I get into this, I do want to say, if you want to find out how all of these astrological transits speak to specifically your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, your year ahead video, Astro Tarot Scope videos are up and out there for your viewing pleasure. They are better than ever. They are more streamlined. They are easier to purchase. I've taken care of a lot of more things this year. So every year they just get better and better and better, right? And I try to bring you more and more. So they are $7.99 a piece. You can get the bundle for $49.99. Each one of them is well over like 90 minutes at this point, some of them way beyond that, and then you've got booklets and PDFs and all kinds of good stuff. So as if that wasn't enough, I've streamlined the buying process. So if you just want to get your sun, moon and ascendant, you don't want the bundle, but you want more than just your ascendant sign, then I've done everything that I can to make sure you just literally add on the upsells that you want. Nice, easy, simple. Thank you for allowing me to sell you things from time to time. This is my business after all. So for those of you that support my work in that way, it means a lot. Now, The first transit that we want to talk about in April, on the 2nd of April, Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Aries, right? Not a massive deal, but that is a kind of look to that Aries Mercury retrograde. It starts on the 2nd and it ends on the 25th. Now, on the 8th of April, we have a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, right? So that's also a big deal. And as if that wasn't enough, we then on top of that have the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus, which is on the 18th of the month. It starts on the 18th of the month. It goes for about 3-4-ish days. This is a once in 14-year transit. This is a big, huge deal for everyone, right? So if you want to find out what that means for your sign, how it's going to speak to you and how you might be able to use it, you know what to do. You can get those on the link in the description box below. So your destiny card for this month is the Chariot. It's going to be a fast, powerful, dynamic month for sure. And that's just the nature of the astrology, right? Then you add to that you have the Chariot card, which is a very fast energy. It's a victory and success, which, you know, and in order to have a victory, there has to be a battle, right? So in some way, shape or form, you're coming through something here, and April, you are coming out triumphant. For this, you've got the Four of Pentacles. So if you are at the moment in April, if you're in between homes or you're looking for a new home at the time, you might be doing a lot of exploratory trips to different houses. There's a lot of viewing of different places, viewing of land, viewing of homes. There is an acceleration of everything in the home sector. What I mean by that is like the home and property sort of sector of the world. There's a lot going on at this time as well. I forgot to mention as well, January, April, May and July seem to be the challenge sticky months this year, and November. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out specifically for you. And I will say that Four of Pentacles, I often see this card when people are saving for homes, saving for a mortgage, or gathering a deposit of some sort. And because you've got it with the Chariot card, it's almost like you reach the point that you were hoping to reach. So this is great, right? Now in May, Jupiter, the Lord of growth, expansion, abundance, luck, that big sort of opportunistic kind of energy that rules meaning and, you know, celebrities and kings and queens, etc. Jupiter is moving out of the sign of Taurus, where it's been for the last year, on the 26th of May. I keep saying the 24th, but it's the 26th. Is moving out of Taurus and into the sign of Gemini, right? So this means education, communication, interaction, local travel, travel and the travel industry, cars, vehicles, you know, trains, planes, automobiles, and all of that good stuff are going to be a big feature for the next 12 months after this, right? So pay attention to that. For May, and the reason I say this as well, wherever Gemini falls in your chart, that's getting a big boost of energy. And this is even more important because it's a once in 12-year transit. Now, Jupiter in Taurus has been quite erratic. It's not behaved as many people expected it to. And my belief about that is because it's had to deal with the fact that Uranus is also in the same sign. When it comes into Gemini, Jupiter will be the longest, the slowest moving planet, should I say, in the sign of Gemini throughout the year ahead. So this is a pretty big deal. Now, for this, you have the Lovers card. So you've got the Gemini energy in the month where Jupiter comes into Gemini. Now, the Lovers card represents love, relationships, partnerships, significant others, yeah, all of that stuff. But it also represents choice. So May looks like there is a heartfelt choice that's going to need to be made, and it's around the Nine of Pentacles. So Nine of Pentacles is actually a beautiful card for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments. There's something about this month where you and your significant other are taking a break, not from each other, maybe from the world. This could be where you're going on an extended vacation. It could be where you're taking time off because you are actually moving at this point. There's a moment at which you and your partner kind of look at each other and go, we did it. We made it. You know, we've run the gauntlet, and now we kind of get a moment to step back and just really enjoy the fruits of our labor. So this is beautiful. The other way that this potentially shows up, because the Nine of Pentacles is It's a card of refinement and beauty, right? So for those of you that are single and looking, you could be connecting with someone, or the options that are available to you are like, you know, they're really good. It's like you win if you do and you win if you don't, right? So it's like whichever way you go, these are people that are naturally very suited to you, or, you know, understand who you actually are. Now, the Nine of Pentacles can be a hard work card sometimes as well. And so with the Lovers card, it does suggest that you might need to consider where it is that you have to lean into. So at this point, actually, when it comes to the work, the career, or the profession, you could be deciding like, okay, this is where I think I need to lean in, and now I'm going to make that choice. When it comes to June, you have the Strength card. Interesting, right? Because it comes up right underneath the Strength card. So you've got a double hit of this energy now. So whatever's happening in February, you may feel the echoes of it here in June. Now, with the Strength card, this is where you do have to gather the strength, courage, wisdom, the grit, and the determination to go after something that you want or you desire. And this comes up with the Two of Pentacles. So if you purchase a home, anybody that's ever bought a home will know this, and it's actually the same if you move into a rental, right? The deposit is the killer, right? And so when you get to where you're going, you're kind of like, you have that moment where you're like, okay, I'm all moved in, finally unpacked the last box about 6 months later, right? And then you have that moment where you're like, you take a minute, you take a beat, and then life has to go on, because at that point you've got to start getting the money back in. June looks like that month, right? Whatever, like even if you're not moving home, some big financial expenditure happens from March right through to May. You have a moment to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but then in June, it's like you got to get back into it. This is where you're having to not tighten up your belt so much in terms of like, oh my gosh, I don't have any money, but it's more a case of you're having to tighten up your belt so that you can say, right, okay, this is, you know, this is how we're going to continue. So you're having to get back to work. You're having to find the courage within you to really set a budget and stick to it, and also have the power within you to really go after that next pay bracket. Sometimes that takes a lot of courage, right? Sometimes it takes a lot of guts to say to yourself, okay, I think I'm ready for that next level of wealth. For July, you have the Moon card, right? So deeply reflective. July is going to be a shaky month on the world stage anyway, and it looks like you're tapping into that. With the Moon card here, this is a past-facing card. It's also a very cyclic energy. So let's see what comes up. And you've got this with the Fool card. So this could be a wild card energy of someone or something from your past that just shows up. It could also be that a lot of you take a journey or a trip down memory lane, but it will be a very physical one. Now, this looks like you're potentially, for some of you, could be going to a place that you once lived, a place that you once worked at, or you could be hearing from them for any number of reasons. For a lot of you, there's some kind of trip that happens, and it's like you're visiting a large body of water, but at night time. So I don't know whether this is night fishing, night swimming, you know, all of the above. It could be something like you're, you know, maybe you're going on a cruise ship at this time and you're watching the water by starlight. I mean, I've always wanted to do that. It's like, when I think about it, I'm just like, oh, that would be so awesome. So if you're doing it, enjoy it for me too. In August, we've got the second Mercury retrograde of the year. So that is on the 4th of August, right the way through to the 29th. So basically the whole month of August, Mercury is retrograde. Yeah, I know. This is the sign of celebrities, the sign of kings, queens, the sign of sovereigns in some way, shape or form. So it'll be interesting to see how that shows up. For this, you have the Temperance card. So the Temperance card has been very active for August, which tells me a few things. There's a balance point here. There's some kind of remedial action that's being taken by the world. I wonder if this is because, you know, obviously we've got these crazy wars that are going on at the moment. I wonder if there's an exacerbation of some sort in the world, or something happens potentially with, you know, the finance sector, because the stock market, etc. And it's like, whatever it happens, it potentially happens in May and July, but then we see international efforts of people to, you know, step in and help each other to create some kind of to create some kind of remedial action. Now, on a personal level, this is a month of healing, right? This is a month where you are sort of really taking time to step out. You've got this with the Five of Pentacles. This is a double up meaning, right? The Temperance card can represent doctors, nurses, therapists, counselors, etc., medical professionals, basically. The Five of Pentacles is usually a card that accompanies like slips, trips, falls, broken bones. I touch wood, hope I'm wrong on this front. But this could literally be, August could be a month where you're laid up with, you know, you had some accident, something's taken place and you're like, oh gosh. You know, let's say you work at a bar and you've sprained your ankle. You know, that's at least a 4 to 6 weeks sort of off your feet. You can't serve pints and all the rest of it and run around a, you know, busy bar, you know, Friday, Thursday through Sunday if you've sprained your ankle. It's just not possible. So please look after your physical health and vitality at this time. And I will say, July, you know, it's wonderful if you're going on that cruise and you're doing nighttime things, but maybe no extreme sports. Things that are a little bit more risky than the usual sort of fun risk. Probably July is probably not the time for it, because August, it's like this is a time for literal healing, where you could be seeing a medical professional because you've done yourself in some way. All right, so please look after yourself. On another note, August might be a month where you really do discover a newfound sense of faith. And you find a sense of sanctuary either in a place or in a community of some sort. So September, you have the first full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. This is kicking off that axis between Virgo and Pisces, so this is a pretty big deal. What this also suggests to me as well is you have a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Because it's a full moon lunar eclipse, that's a grand completion, but full moons are spotlights. And because it's a spotlight that is shining on the, oh, come on, brain. It's a spotlight that's shining on the North Node. This is about, like, this is an eclipse that is illuminating what is being started or what's going to be prominent for you over the next 18 months ahead. For this, you have the Star card. This is illuminating the future for you. This is highlighting the good things that are to come. It's also a point at which, once you've done all of the healing, September is a time where you're like, okay, you know what? I feel stronger than ever. I feel more powerful in myself, and not only that, I feel more in tune or in touch with the universe, and I feel a sense of trust in myself and the universe at this time. Now, this usually represents, and you've got it with the Chariot card, so this usually represents things like technology, you know, digital sort of assets and stuff like that, broadcasting, TV, radio, film, and you've got it with the Chariot card. So on a sort of really grounded, mundane level, this could literally be that you're buying an electric vehicle, right? You could be getting a Tesla or, you know, whatever other models are out there that are completely electric. That could literally just be that. On another level, this does suggest on the wider world stage, we're likely to be seeing some big development around transport, right? My money is on, I don't know if you know this, but Elon Musk started building the Hyperloop some time ago. So I'm fully expecting to hear news about that in 2024. And I wonder if this is where it's happening. Another way that this shows up, this is some kind of long distance travel that you're doing, but it's not long distance travel that you're doing, or it's a long distance journey that you're doing, but it's not by plane. Because it's the Chariot, this is likely that you're getting a coach, you're getting a bus, maybe you're going on a massive epic long road trip, maybe you're buying that, you know, Volkswagen camper van and you're going around different places to, you know, all doing all of that kind of stuff. I'm jelly. So it could be great. In October, we have the last new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. This is closing out that cycle of those eclipses, right? So this is a pretty big deal. For this, you have the Sun card, right? So this is a satisfactory close to the cycle for you in a way that I actually think is not only just beneficial, it makes you feel really good. It's like an understanding of, yes, all of these things had to happen in my life for me to move to the next level. And with this, you've got the Six of Cups. This is gorgeous, right? The Six of Cups itself is a very happy card. It's happy memories, happy connections. It's wonderful connections with siblings. You've got this with the Sun card. This is making new memories with people that you genuinely love. This is experiencing life to the full in a way that feels like, you know what, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. October is a truly beautiful and wonderful month for you. Don't waste it. And look, September, you could be traveling by car, by vehicle, or maybe your commute just ramps up in some way. Whereas in October, the travel that you're doing is potentially either abroad or, again, long distance, but this is travel for leisure, right? I actually think all of it, September and October, has got a really heavy vibe about this. But yeah, I love that. I love October. I think it's just a really beautiful month. Now, Mercury goes retrograde November 25th, right the way through to the 16th of December. Yay. And what this means is, it's the last one of the year, right, in Sagittarius. So it means that we don't start the new year of 2025 with a Mercury retrograde. For this, you have the Tower card. So here you do need to be mindful, right? I said November was a sticky month and it seems to be showing itself more and more. Watch out for this, right? It may not necessarily be happening to you, it might be happening around you, so don't get sucked up into it. And you've got this with the Knight of Cups. So it's not all doom and gloom, right? The Tower card is something that turns your world upside down. It's a big realization or a cracking of an illusion. Whereas the Knight of Cups is an offer. It's an offer, an opportunity, something that is presented to you. Because it's presented to you with or by the Tower, this is something that completely disrupts your life. For some of you, this could be a pregnancy. It's a pregnancy that you don't even realize that you had until, you know, you're like, oh, hang on a sec, you know, it's been a couple of months actually. Need to have a look, right? And then all of a sudden you realize you're pregnant. It could be that your partner comes to you and says, oh, by the way, you know, I've been given a job in, let's say you live in, I don't know, New Orleans, let's say, or let's say actually you live in London, and your partner comes to you and says, look, I've just been given this really great job, but it's in New Orleans. Or vice versa, right? Like it's really good news, but it's a complete disruption to your life. So, and the Knight of Cups tends to bring good things, all right? So I'm optimistic about this, but at the same time, whatever's happening on the wider world stage, be very mindful of whatever bandwagon you jump on, all right? This is one of those times where you do need to be mindful and clear that, you know, what do you or don't you want to be attached to or associated with, because it potentially blows up, all right? And I mean quite literally in that fact. As we come into December, we have a Mars retrograde in the sign of Leo. So we've had a Mercury retrograde in August in Leo. Now we've got Mars, but it will come out of Leo as it retrogrades back into the sign of Cancer. And unfortunately, this one takes us into 2025. For this, we've got the Devil card. I use different decks. I do use different sets of decks for every single life path and every single sign. The Devil card has come up proportionately that much more than any other card for December of 2024. I don't know what's going on this month, but I can tell you we are all going to be taken for a spin in some way, shape or form. And, you know, in terms of this, again, whatever you attach yourself to in November, just be careful that you're not jumping on a bandwagon that you don't want to be associated with. You've got the King of Cups for this. King of Cups is usually a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. It also represents utilizing your emotional and creative faculties in a way. It's emotional intelligence, effectively. So this with the Devil card, it could be a time where a lot of heartstrings are being pulled. That's maybe yours personally, but on the wider world stage. Watch out for manipulation at this point. Really, really important, all right? Because there's clearly some stuff floating about. And my argument for this is be mindful of the guru or the leader that comes forward and says, you know, I have the absolute only way that this can happen. just, yeah, November and December, really be mindful of what or who you're buying into. Okay, now your challenge months for the year. I think March is going to be one. I think July is going to be one. I think August is very likely to be a challenge month. And I think November and December are challenge months. Your power months, January, I think it's going to be interesting. February is a power month. April is a power month. May is a power month. June, even, you know, even as hard work as it will be, I think it will be a power month. September, power month. October, power month. So you've got literally like a real mixed bag here. Your key to the year is the gate 13 and listen. And your message behind this is that the messages that come to you via your intuition and your imagination, pay attention to them. Even if something feels like it was just a daydream or a reverie, but it really got you into an emotional state, or it really made you feel something very powerful, trust your intuition. You must listen to yourself this year, above and beyond anything or anyone else, especially when you get here to this latter part of the year. As a life path 33, you have the ability to be what we call an ipsissimus, a true psychic, right? I've met many life path 33s who are like so psychic it's ridiculous, and I've met many that are, you know, the complete opposite. They're total escape artists. They, you know, they drink a lot. They're completely wrapped up in all of their stuff. They don't deal with anything. They're just completely out of the realm. Whereas, you know, you guys, if you're watching this, I would wager that you're closer to the edge of a true psychic. So when I say you must listen to and trust your own instincts and intuition this year, I mean it. All right, I really, really mean it, especially in the months of March, especially in the month of July, and especially in the months of November and December. All right. Now, if you haven't seen it, there's a playlist in my channel. It's totally free, so you can check it out. You can work out your personal year vibration. There's a video to show you how. Then you can find out what your personal year is, and once you've got that, there's a video for each one of the personal years. So you watch that gives you one set of information. You watch this again, this will fill in some of the details. I've created a whole system here for you to really get the most out of your year ahead. All right, so, and also remember, your year ahead astro taroscopes are up and out there for your purchasing pleasure. Come back to these month by month, every 3 months, every 6 months. It means so much to me that you do. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.